So, what is the hardest thing that you had to go through with being at 3.5?
That's a good one. There's a lot, but I was sexually assaulted in 29 Palms at an ITX. And it was really tough. I was a junior Marine and it was one of my senior Marines. So that was really, really tough because it wasn't just that I couldn't get out of there because I was in 29 Palms. It was also like, like my NCOs already didn't want me there. And then this happened. And I debated whether or not to say something about it. And then I was staying in the female hooch because they had separated me, which is something I don't think you should ever do if you're going to have a female. But for the first time, they separated me. And so I went back to her and she was like, you need to say something about this. She was like in a different working place. Anyways, but she's like, you need to say something about this. So I did. And it became an NCIS case, and it was very public, and that wasn't good. And I was a junior Marine, I was a PFC, so I didn't really know how to handle any of it.
This was here or
29 Palms.
29? Okay, yeah.
I was there for ITX, which
Right.
is our
Training, yeah.
evolution for deployment. And so number one, I was a junior Marine and didn't really know how to go about handling it. Number two, my NCOs already didn't want me there as it was. Now the narrative's getting passed around like she's making it up, right? It's not like they don't want to believe that their brother, their boy, their person like did this. The first time a female comes into the platoon, it's like, oh, this hasn't happened before. Like, he would never do that. Obviously, it's never happened because there's never been me here to do that too, So that was hard just because I was like ostracized further, and it was tough and no one understood what I was going through and I couldn't connect with anyone because no one really knew. And then I had to keep working. I had to keep I was in ITX and we needed mortarmen. I remember my master sergeant at the time, he sat down with me on a bench and he was like, I'm not saying you have to do this, but we need mortarmen for ITX. We need you to train. We need you to be there. And I was just like, I took, it was like the week leading up to it. And I was like, okay, I'll do it. So it was definitely hard because it's like you're sleeping in the field around everyone, everyone's next to each other in a sleeping bag. And for that time, I like slept right near my gunny at the time. And I was just like so worried. And so there was a fear. There was a fear there. I didn't trust anyone. And I hadn't trusted anyone before that either, like there were other incidents that's happened to me before that, but that was probably the biggest one. And so I didn't trust anyone. I didn't feel.
NCIS investigation took like a whole year almost.
Yeah. Well, I found out on the MEU that I was on that he ended up actually, you know what the crazy thing is? When I got back from ITX, I was doing another field. Op. And that guy that had done that to me, they put him in the CP, in the headquarters platoon, while he was getting charged because he still needed a place to go and work and stuff.
So you had to see him.
I saw him. Yeah. And it was terrible. I only saw him one time because then I just didn't go back after that. I just wouldn't go in there. And it was terrible, but he ended up going to the brig, and then he was also kicked out because he had, from what I was told from my lieutenant colonel at the time and my sergeant major, that he had raped a girl out in San Clemente after that, following that. So that also proved to everyone else, like, wow, he probably did do that. And so he had to go deal with civilian authorities, and that guy's, out.